TomoNews presents Extreme Comic Fans.
For the second time in a little over a week, Slenderman is being blamed for inspiring an attempted murder. Last week, we brought you the story of two 12-year-old girls who stabbed their friend in the woods of Wisconsin, which you can find a link to in the description. After hearing about this story, a woman in Hamilton, Ohio, made the connection between Slenderman and her attacker, her 13-year-old daughter. The victim knew her daughter had mental health problems, but never imagined her own child would attempt to harm her.
I came home one night from work, and she was in the kitchen waiting for me, and she was wearing a white mask. She had her hood up, and she had her, hands covered with the sleeves and the mask.
She said her daughter's writing had been getting darker and darker and contained references to the fictional character Slenderman. The 13-year-old attacked, injuring her mother's face, neck, and back. She was someone else during that attack, said the mother. Authorities say the teenager, who is currently in a juvenile detention center, says she does not recall what happened the night she stabbed her mother. For those of you still wondering who, what, or why Slenderman is, click on the second link in the description below.
Superfan cuts off his own nose to look like comic book villain. There's devoted comic book fans, and then there's Henry Damon, a Venezuelan man who has elevated the ceiling of fandom to new heights by completely transforming his appearance in order to look more like this guy, Captain America arch-nemesis and Nazi agent Red Skull. Not only did Damon get his face tattooed and reconstructed with subdermal implants, no, in order to commit fully to hailing Hydra, the 37-year-old even got the tip of his nose chopped off. Jesus. And he's not even done yet. He still plans on getting cheekbone, cheek, and chin implants, and then tattoo his entire face red. In order to truly and fully become Red Skull and lead Hydra to world domination though, he still needs to find a way to get rid of that meddling Captain America.
Superman may not really exist, but his look-alike does, and he lives in the Philippines. Herbert Chavez is the Guinness World Record holder for the largest collection of Superman memorabilia, but that wasn't enough. 36-year-old Chavez has endured 19 surgeries over 16 years to make himself look like the comic superhero as well. The surgeries included nose jobs, lip liposuction, skin lightening, jaw realignment, pectoral implants, and abdominal implants, which has so far only cost him about $7,000 as he gets surgeries for free in exchange for promoting his doctor's practice. Chavez says he has no regrets and that people are always excited to see a real-life Superman in the Philippines. Next, Chavez plans on undergoing a procedure to implant metal in his legs to make him taller. But with the recovery time involved in that, how will he get away when Kevin Spacey shows up with kryptonite?
Australian girl turns herself into real-life Jessica Rabbit.
You had plenty money, 1922. You let other women make up.
Many women dream of having a Jessica Rabbit hourglass-like figure. Well, 25-year-old Australian Penny Brown took that dream to the extreme and transformed herself into a real-life version of the sexy cartoon star of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Penny has been obsessed with Jessica Rabbit since childhood. In 2 years, she had 2 boob jobs to enlarge her breasts to 36 O cups because she wanted to get them as big as possible. She has also reduced her waist size from 38 to 23 inches by wearing rib-crushing corsets for up to 23 hours a day. And now she wants to shrink it even more. To make her hourglass figure even more extreme and more dramatic, Penny is preparing to have her 3rd boob job to double the size of her breast. Go hard or go home. Really?
A machete-wielding psycho at a Halloween party cut off another machete-wielding psycho's hand. Don't you hate when somebody comes to the Halloween party dressed the same as you? Well, that kind of happened in Bryan, Texas on Saturday night when two guys with machetes met outside the Club el Tropicana. Details are scarce, but we know there was a Halloween party going on at the time. Then, around 2 a.m., a fight started between two men with machetes. Whether the machetes were for costume effect or for a planned fight isn't known. What is known is that at least one of the machetes was real, because one guy lost a hand. When police arrived, the winning machete maniac had fled, and they took the loser to the hospital. The man's hand was completely amputated, and the police are asking the public for any information as to the winner's whereabouts.
Everyone's favorite Dark Knight, Batman, shows up in Japan. He is a billionaire, industrialist, philanthropist, crime-fighting vigilante, the Cape Crusader, hero of Gotham. He is Batman! The Dark Knight has been sighted by several civilians, but not in the city of Gotham, rather in Chiba, Japan. Photos of the heroic Batman riding his iconic bat cycle on a Japanese freeway has been taken and shared on YouTube. Where is he? Who is this mysterious man? This person is none other than Bruce Wayne's biggest fan. A 40-year-old man who lives in Chiba, Japan, claims to be a huge Batman fan. He made the custom bat cycle himself. Many wonder if the homemade bat cycle is in violation of any traffic laws. Some have even pointed out that the danger of the cape being caught in the wheel has already infringed the road safety law. Furthermore, many are also worried about the possible accident from drivers that slow down to take pictures of the Dark Knight. We hope the Japanese Batman will be able to stay out of trouble.
Las Vegas killers JERAD and Amanda Miller held radical views. To the people in the world, you're lucky I can't kill you now, but remember, one day I will get you, because all hell will break loose and I'll be standing in the middle of it, with a shotgun in one hand and a pistol in the other. Those are the crazed words of Amanda Miller, who along with her husband JERAD, killed 2 police officers and an innocent man on June 8 before being surrounded by police in a Walmart and dying at Miller's own hand. A trail of social media posts and videos show the pair was obsessed with the idea of an armed revolution against the government and hint at a festering hunger for violence toward anything which symbolized its authority. This is how innocent cops just eating their lunch became targets of the pair's misplaced hatred. After murdering the 2 men, they draped the Gadsden flag across the bodies and left a dark manifesto bearing a swastika. The flag, which warns, "Don't tread on me," has roots in the American Revolution but is most recently associated with the Tea Party movement and elements of the far right. It reappeared back in 2009 at Tea Party rallies across the country, flown by protesters angry at perceived government overreach. Yet when JERAD picked up his guns to support Nevada rancher Cliven Bundy in his tax dispute with the federal government, the Bundy family met a man whose extreme views in criminal history made them so uncomfortable they expelled him from the ranch. Neighbors who spoke with the gun-loving couple have told of their paranoid, drug-fueled fantasy of an all-powerful New World Order bent on bringing about a global police state. One man who had recently moved to the Millers' building told reporters he avoided the couple because they usually appeared high on methamphetamine.
Mystery masked hero saves London man from armed robbers. A costumed man came to the rescue when knife-wielding gang members tried to rob a man in South London on Monday night. Ken, a city worker who only gave his first name to London's Evening Standard, was making his way down Martin's Hill after work, when some thugs popped out of nowhere and pulled out knives, demanding both his wallet and his cell phone. That's when, as Ken describes it, a masked superhero dressed in black, let's call him Batman, about 6 feet in height and wearing combat boots and a muscle t-shirt, appeared out of thin air and targeted the largest of the troop of jokers, kicking him to the ground. Batman then grabbed one of the other jokers before swinging him into the third guy, launching them both into a hedge of prickly bushes. Ken says he was too mesmerized by what he saw to stop Batman in time to thank him. But the Bromley resident hopes to someday identify the masked Good Samaritan. The real-life superhero reportedly also saved the life of a local woman attacked by muggers 4 months ago and has since been spotted in at least 3 different incidents.
Spider-Man punches Times Square cop. The Amazing Spider-Man wasn't quite so amazing when he punched a Times Square cop in the face over the weekend, in the latest in a string of superheroes behaving badly in Manhattan. The characters in Times Square are allowed to collect donations, but they're prohibited from demanding money. Spidey was posing for a picture with a couple at 42nd and Broadway when the couple offered him $1 in exchange. The webhead refused and told the couple he would only accept large sums, 5s, 10s, and 20s only. That's when Officer Eduardo Molina stepped forward and told the woman she could give whatever amount of money she wanted. This is none of your business, Webhead told Officer Molina while tearing off his mask. Spidey's spider sense must have been tingling, because when Molina went in to arrest him, he punched him in the face several times. Mickey and Minnie looked on in horror, while smiling, and Elmo had his red mitt up to his cheek as the cops finally arrested the wall crawler. Spider-Man is actually 25-year-old Junior Bishop from Brooklyn. He was due to be arraigned Sunday at Manhattan Criminal Court on charges of felony assault.
Idiot calls himself Batman, announces his crimes on Facebook. Mr. Zhao is a 33-year-old idiot. Police in Taiwan arrested him after he announced on his Facebook that he'd stolen someone's phone and wallet. In fact, Mr. Zhao challenged his victim to call the stolen number and said he'd never get it back because Mr. Zhao believed himself to be Batman. In fact, Mr. Zhao had his own built-in eye mask. Mr. Zhao suffers from a skin condition that caused some of the skin around his eyes to be lighter than the rest of his skin. The lighter skin around his eyes gives him a reverse raccoon look, hence his claims of being a masked bandit. Too bad he couldn't remember the first rule of being Batman. Don't tell anyone you're Batman, stupid.
Once powerful Sith Lord now robbing banks in North Carolina. Darth Vader has not been seen in public since dying in Luke's arms in 1983. We don't accept the first 3 movies as canon, but now the Dark Lord has returned as a bank robber. This dude went full Darth with mask, chestplate, and gloves. The only thing missing was the cape, but instead of a lightsaber, he carried a long rifle. The robbery occurred on Monday in Pineville, North Carolina, and no, it was not a viral marketing stunt for Star Wars 7. Darth demanded cash, and he got it. And while the Vader getup was cool, the Dark Lord's escape vehicle was decidedly less so. Bank workers say he fled in a beat-up, gray four-door Chevrolet Suburban. The FBI is now searching for the robber, with reports saying a man resembling the suspect was spotted buying drinks and getting lap dances at Shaman's Cantina. This isn't the first time Darth has turned to robbery. Back in 2010, he held up a bank in Long Island, but that time he was a bit taller, cops say. Darth Vader is back in the news, and yes, he's robbing stores again. Bad Darth! An armed man dressed as Darth Vader walked into an 8-till-late convenience store in Jacksonville Beach, Florida on Sunday night and demanded cash. Evidently, his performance was underwhelming, and an employee simply said no. Unaccustomed to having his orders challenged, the Dark Lord took a few seconds to reassess, which gave another store employee just enough time to try something that really could have ended quite differently than it did. Grabbing a jar of blue cheese salad dressing, an unnamed second employee hurled the jar at Vader, striking him directly in the face. The force of the throw caused a serious cut to the would-be robber's face, and he removed his mask to nurse his wounds before fleeing in a silver car that had New York license plates. He was picked up by cops later that same night. The unsuccessful robber was identified as 32-year-old Jacob Mercer, and police say they found multiple handguns inside his backpack when he was arrested. Mercer's been charged with armed robbery and possession of a weapon or ammunition by a convicted felon, which means no bail. We're glad to see no one was shot, but would you have thrown a jar at a person holding a gun? Drunk Superman bested by 10-year-old girl. Tang Lei, a man from China's Jiangsu province, may need to consider joining AA or something. Is there a Morons Anonymous, maybe? After getting nice and sloshed over the weekend, this genius decided to do a little late-night burglarizing. The drunken Mr. Tang climbed into a 5th-floor window from a nearby balcony and was surprised to find himself in the bedroom of a 10-year-old girl. The room's brave young occupant challenged Tang, who tried to talk his way out of the situation by claiming he was Superman on a special secret mission. But this 10-year-old has about 200 more IQ points than Tang does, and she argued that everyone knows Superman can fly, so the only way she'd believe him is if he could fly too. So, Mr. Tang, who is not in fact Superman, ripped off his pants in order to look more like a superhero, he said, and then jumped out the window and flew to the balcony below. He missed and slammed into another balcony. Mr. Tang is in police custody and is recovering from severe cuts and bruises. $10 as the little girl discovers the cure for cancer someday.
According to a new article in Foreign Policy magazine, this man, current NSA Chief General Keith Alexander, once spent American tax dollars on a bizarre and futuristic control room for the Army's Intelligence and Security Command's creepily named Information Dominance Center. Unsatisfied with his war room, the general brought in a Hollywood set designer to work on a shiny Star Trek-style makeover, complete with chrome paneling and doors that go whoosh. Why the bean counters signed off on this egomaniac's weird sci-fi fantasy is unclear. The general used the 22-foot main screen to show off his spying tools and had political and military bigwigs sit in the centerpiece captain's chair. His surveillance motto, "Collect it all," could also apply to his childish fascination with such toys. These are the actual photographs of the room. Do you think this was a grotesque use of public money by the government, or a reasonable tool for the nation's defense?
Wolverine-obsessed man wanted by cops in triple murder case. A man obsessed with comic book superhero Wolverine is wanted by British police in a triple murder case. According to the Daily Mirror, over 100 officers are hunting for 21-year-old Jed Allen after the bodies of a woman, her partner, and a 6-year-old girl were found stabbed to death. The police found the bodies of 48-year-old Janet Jordan, 48-year-old Philip Howard, and 6-year-old Darren Jordan on Sunday night at a home in Didcot, Oxfordshire. Allen's Instagram account is full of photos of himself in Wolverine as well as other popular superheroes. In one photo he can be seen clutching knives in a Wolverine claw-like pose. In another he is brandishing a large knife, and another shows him wielding an axe. Police have warned the public not to approach Allen and believe that he is still in the area.
A Japanese superhero wearing a green costume has taken to the subways of Tokyo, helping old ladies and the elderly navigate the stairs. A greengrocer by day, Tadahiro Kanemasu spends his free hours dressing like a Power Ranger and helping subway riders up and down the stairs. Kanemasu tends mostly to the elderly and those with children. Drawing praise from riders, the do-good hero wants others to join in on his crusade of performing good deeds and spreading joy. He said that he bought the outfit at a discount store for $41, and despite the cheap prop, now feels like a real superhero.
Police in Los Angeles are hoping to trap Spider-Man in their web after a costumed impersonator made a daring daylight bag snatch in Hollywood. The theft happened on Friday morning on Hollywood Boulevard, where costumed performers pose for photos with tourists. A Starline Tours employee was leaving the office with a paper bag containing $6,000 and customer credit card details when a sticky-fingered thief sprung, grabbing the bag and running off. Police questioned performers and rounded up several suspects, but have made no arrests so far.
Iron Man suit built by FANBOY and dance instructor in Taiwan. 28-year-old Wu Yuting worked together with his friend Guo Wensheng to construct a replica of Tony Stark's Iron Man suit from the popular comic book and Marvel superhero films. It took the pair about 8 weeks to create the suit, which cost them the equivalent of about $164 in materials. The suit is mostly made of polyester putty, but also includes LED lights on the palms, chest, and helmet. Wu is a dance instructor in the city of Tainan, and he wears the suit in public to practice his dance moves. Pictured here, Wu breaks it down at the local train station for onlookers and passers-by. It's not every day you get to see Iron Man getting jiggy with it. This proves that the man really does make the suit.